Hi, guys. Yeah, today is a very exciting one. I'm meeting an old friend of mine, Dr. Ramatloto. She's going to be joining me very soon. She worked with me many years ago at Far Eastern Hospital in anesthetics department. That's where we met and we became very good friends. Yeah, so I'm very, very excited. Apparently, since she left Far Eastern Hospital, she has been doing quite a lot of work in various hospitals and private. So today I'm looking forward to talking to her, and she's joining me very soon. I'm very excited. Hi, Doc. Unmute yourself, Doc. Dr. Ramatloto.
All right. Yeah. So this is this is what I was setting up. Hi, how are you?
I'm great.
See me?
Yourself?
Hi.
Long time.
It's been forever. It's been forever.
Is it what? A decade or what? Is it 10 years?
It's about 8.
8 years, eh?
Yeah, it's about 8 years.
Yeah, we're at Far Eastern Hospital, eh?
Yeah, we're at Far Eastern Hospital. I think both everyone was very unhappy there.
Yeah.
So we all wanted to find a way out, but it seems so. I could then. No, I think the day that I applied to come to Pretoria from East End, ne?
Yeah.
I was coming from a call, and it was 8 o'clock in the morning when I got to my house, and I was thinking to myself, "Well, this cannot be my." It can't be. There's a lady that's coming there, drops off her kids at school, hey, and then when it's time to pick them up, she's, Lena, that's the life that I want. So, yeah, Mari, now it's more clinical work.
Yeah. So now, so you left Pretoria, went to Pretoria, ne?
Yeah, so I went to Steve Biko.
Right.
I stayed there because I left to 2016.
Yeah. 2016, okay.
Yeah, I made it 2016, and then I stayed. I was in a post and Kadula until 2020.
Right.
Yeah, so I decided the things were not really progressing in the way that I wanted. So, let me go. I'm tired now.
You went private?
I went to private. I've been about a year.
Yeah.
Yeah. Private is also work. You
a lot,
work.
Yeah, it's too much.
Yeah. So balancing. I feel like I've never found the balance.
Who finds it? It's so difficult. In our field, it's so difficult to find the balance. The thing is, we are not in control of the situation. Someone else is in control, and mainly in this case, I mean, there are two major players. It's the government that is in control, and then if you move from private sector, if you go to private sector, you find there are two players: it's government and the businessman in private. Who is looking at the bottom line. Us as doctors, we are just tools. You understand? Just I usually call we're just glorified workers, basically.
We are glorified workers.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so you reach a point where you ask yourself many questions, and the third one is that sometimes you ask yourself, is it worth it? I mean, I never want to look down upon our profession. It's a very noble profession, but the problem is that when you're not in control and you're pushed around by everyone wherever you go, sometimes you sit down and ask yourself, was it really worth it.
I also agree. That's why I'm saying that when I left East End, I was frustrated and I wanted a way out.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, because of not knowing and so on, I thought, oh no, if I just go and specialize, it will get better.
Yeah.
But actually, no. Private nayo, it's from both sides. You will always be at the bottom of the chain.
Exactly. Yeah. Because even if you look at it as a specialist, the post does not change. The post is still the same. I mean, it's still a medical aid, you know? Yeah. No, I hear you.
So, cooperative, ne?
Yeah. So now, Doc, I just want to take you see, your experience. I'm glad that you have seen this. And I think most of our colleagues by now, they have observed this, and I think they are convinced that something needs to be done. But unfortunately, there are many things on the way. One of them, of course, is our mindset, you know, that is on our way. And the other one, of course, will be the hope. You know, when there are certain institutions or certain structures or bodies that give you hope. And they can also delay you. I mean, you may think that maybe next year or year after next, and so on, only to find nothing happens. So we are trapped in that kind of a situation. Either we have trapped ourselves with our minds, or, you know, somebody's trapping us, you know, and say, you know, you're not going anywhere. I'll just keep promising you something, and then you just stay there. So 2017, I mean, obviously, that's sometime, I think you left 2016 at the Far East. I think around that time, I left before you, ne? Because I went to Joburg Gen, and then...
probably, yeah. I think when I just remember I was with... I was with one of the other gentlemen. I was with Marikele.
Yeah.
I was with...
Kwatala.
Yeah, I was with Kwatala. Then there was Eric.
Yeah, Eric Maibane.
Yes, that one.
Eric Mabane, yeah, something like that, yeah.
Went low.
Yeah. And then there was... Yeah. And who else? That guy, I think, was from DRC. I forget him.
Mambo.
Yeah, Mambo.
Mambo was the tall one, and then there were the ladies, the two Indian ladies.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh yeah, before nothing.
Yeah, I think the other one was Nadine or Nadia, something like that. And
hey, I'm not yeah. I think there are personalities for clinical.
Yeah. So now, when I left, I went to Joburg Gen, stayed there for some time, and then I went to what's this, Tembisa. No, I came back actually to Far East, and then I went to Tembisa. I ended up in orthopedics, by the way.
Really?
Yeah.
Don't say that.
I was so stressed, you know. But anyway, I was like, man, can't I find something that can make me sleep at home? You know. So, and but I mean, come on, it was late in my life to think of orthopedics, but I decided, no, I'm going there. And then I stayed 2 years there. You know, I started in Gen Surg, then I went to ortho. But after that, then I joined. I started a group. I put together a team of surgeons that were going to operate on road accident fund patients. Yeah. So then we ended up.
Then
Yeah. So that was basically the whole idea was to service a road accident fund. I mean, you know yourself, we've got a lot of road accident trauma. So so we focused basically on WCA and the road accident fund. So that's how I left Tembisa to focus on that. And then I went back to anesthetics at Zamokule. So I was busy actually.
I was doing Zamokule recently.
Is it?
Yeah, it's a small world, right? And I was calling you to ask you to say, hey, we are stuck with Zamokule.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, so we did a lot of work there. It's a long story, you know, until I said, you know what? No, I think now I must focus on building the organization. Around 2017, I led the formation of a Promedical cooperative, because at that time, 2017, that's when I realized that us as doctors in particular, of course, we know one talks about healthcare professionals, but let me tell you, the people who suffer most is the doctors, because we don't have lunch, we don't have tea time, we don't have sleep, we don't have anything, you know, and on top of that, everybody throws all the problems to us, and we must just accept them. It's the patient. Of course, we accept the patient to throw the problems to us, but you know, when it's other people, patients are not the problem. But when it's other people now, you know, where you work, and it becomes if it's the system that is against you, you understand, that really becomes painful. So
it does become painful.
Yeah. So around 2017, then I started this cooperative. The whole idea, and well, I'm sure you'll agree with me. I observed and I realized that, you know what, doctors basically are battling, you know, not socially, but they are battling financially. They don't have money, you know, and I'm not saying that, you know, obviously we are driven by money, but I mean, we deserve a proper remuneration. And I realized that, you know, screaming at the state is not going to take us that far. I mean, you have seen yourself, and we can see even today. Then I asked myself, maybe what is it that we can do, you know, as doctors, you know, that can assist us in creating our own wealth. Because if you don't create your own wealth in this world, especially in a capitalist world like the one that we live in, nobody's going to create wealth for you. Nobody does anything for anybody. You do something for yourself, you know, and that's how actually Promedical Primary Cooperative was born. So then, but at that time we were with SMDP. I don't know if you know SMDP. It's
no.
It's a South African medical. SMDP, SAMDP, South African Medical and Dental Practitioners Association.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it's a very old organization. I think it was incorporated in 1989 or something like that. When we qualified, we found SMDP was already in action. And the main idea of SMDP was to actually create wealth for the doctor, so that when we qualify, you don't have to struggle financially. In fact, you can even enjoy staying in the state hospitals and render services there to assist those who need us there. So that was the very noble idea, you understand. And the leaders who started that at that time, Abu Joe Maelane, you know, who is this guy, Abu Shabangu, you know, a lot of them. So they had this brilliant idea. But along the way, you know, so when we qualified, we actually joined SMDP. It was automatic. In fact, SAMA was secondary, you know, because SAMA to us was more like a political structure rather than a business structure. SMDP was clear. It was a business structure. It was creating wealth. Whereas SAMA was just a non-profit organization that claims, or it was claiming that is going to represent us, you know, at government level, you know, when dealing with the issues of legislation, you know, dealing with regulation and so forth. Whereas SMDP, its mandate was clear, was to create wealth for us as medical doctors. And now, and of course, with the dentists. But then these guys, just to cut a long story short, they ended up hijacking the same organization that had such a noble idea.
Which one was that?
This SMDP.
Yeah,
SMDP, you see, SMDP was led by Joe Mailani, but the guy passed on now. I think he died early this year or last year, I can't remember. Yeah. But anyway, there were guys there. You see what happened there was a SGH. This means it's a holding company. You know, that was under, because SMDP was an NPO, but its idea was to set up a holding company and then to create wealth for the doctors. And then, so when you join a member, you become a member plus a shareholder. Okay, it means you own shares. Okay, and then today actually it owns MedScheme. You know MedScheme, the one that is paying us.
Yeah.
Yeah, it owns MedScheme. It has got shares in Sanlam. It has got shares in many pharmaceutical companies. Actually, there are so many. I'm gonna give you a list of all the assets that are owned by SMDP through SGH. SGH is SMDP Group Holding. Okay. So, by the way, me and you are not supposed to be poor today. We're supposed to be very rich just because of that. You understand? But let me tell you something. So, few guys who were directors of SGH, and then they decided to hijack it. You know, black people, we always do that. And then they decided to hijack it, and then for their own benefit or to the benefit of themselves, their wives, girlfriends, and you know, their relatives and so forth. You know, as usual. You know, it's the black thing again. Yeah.
It's because we're poor. It's not a black thing, it's a poverty thing.
Oh, it's a poverty thing. Yeah, true. No, 100%. I like that. I like that perspective. Yeah. So when we were at SMGP, we realized all those things were happening. Then we decided to organize ourselves in a form of a cooperative. A cooperative structure is a more transparent structure. And we are not fighting the leadership, basically, you know, to say, why are you guys hijacking, you know, a vehicle that is supposed to empower or create wealth for the two? We're not arguing that. You know, people do things for their own reasons. But we were saying, allow us to set up a cooperative structure, and then we'll go out there and look out for the deals or projects that can benefit the doctors in a more transparent manner. So that's all we're saying. But these guys, they didn't like it. And what they did, they kicked us out. So, but anyway, we didn't challenge anything. We just left, and then we set up Promedical. At that time, we were calling it SMGP Cooperative. And then later on, when we incorporated, then we actually registered as a Promedical Primary Cooperative. And the whole idea, again, was just the same as that of SMGP, but this time, it was more practical. We just said, okay, we're gonna get the doctors to become part of this when they join, and then they get shares. So at that time, we started at 6,100 and rands. So people would just put 6,100 rands, then we give them 5,500 shares at 1 rand per share. Of course, we're very ambitious. We thought that we could finance anything. You understand that, you know, because the idea was to set up our own hospitals, you know, where, and you'd understand yourself and agree with me that the biggest problem that we have as doctors is that we don't own hospitals. That's our biggest weakness. We have the patients, we control, because patients, they come to us, they don't go to a hospital. But the problem is that we don't own hospitals. We don't have infrastructure. And we piggy on other people's infrastructure. That is why we're abused so much. And we are getting older, and you realize that you have nothing to show for anything, you see. Because you have been walking around in somebody else's corridors with your stethoscope and your degrees. And those people there, they don't have the degrees that you have. They don't give a damn about you. These guys, they play golf every day. And then you work there, you know, sitting, walking between life and death with those patients from theater to ICU. They don't care. All they want to know, how many patients did you do? If there's any problem, and that problem is yours, it must come to you, because, you know, your insurance and yourself must sort each other out. They are not interested. And they take all the money, and then you walk away. Exactly. They take all the money and they walk away with a decimal fraction. So that's the name of the game. So I felt that no, as doctors, we need to take ownership. This is our industry. We are the engineers of the science. There's nobody who understands this industry better than us. You can put all the politicians together, even the accountants and the economists, all of them. They don't understand this industry better than us. So, and yet we are sitting there at the back and they make all the decisions, they make all the money, they make the legislation, they do everything. And then after that, they call us and tell us that, okay, you are going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, and you must do it as fast as possible. So then I said, no, but we need to do something. So that is how Promedical was formed, to say, okay, let's look at ownership of hospitals. It's key. And we said we're going to own our hospitals, but now we need to fund our own hospitals, fund our rehab centers, and fund our medical centers, find the entire infrastructure. But let me tell you something, that was a mammoth task, because now to get doctors, that is when I realized that doctors don't have money. Because, honestly, because, you calculate, you say, we needed to be 200, just 200 doctors. And if we were to contribute, each one of us, at least, let's say 100,000, you understand? I mean, come on. We have got, we are gone immediately. We can actually, if that money is sitting in the bank, there's any financing institution can give us any color of money that we want to fund anything. But I tried all of that, dear. We couldn't raise that money. And then until we were forced now to go to the funding institutions. Now, if you go to the financial institutions, you know yourself. You are going back, yeah? You understand? Yeah.
They want the 10-year plan and how much you've been making, and
you see now. Now, I mean, it's so easy for us to raise 20 million and do something. We if for instance, even if you can go back and say, if we're putting 5,000 rands per month, because most of us, that's what we're paying. We're paying insurances, we're paying everybody. All these people. If you can take our bank statements and then you see the debit orders that are going through, then you realize that we're actually working for these people. So that was the idea. But exactly. But it didn't happen. Then we're forced now to go back to look for the for funders. Well, to cut a long story short, eventually we managed to get the financiers, people who can fund our projects. We have now a hospital in Fortsburg that we're just about to conclude the deal, which is going to be 100% owned by Promedical. And then we have another one that will be 50% owned. It's in Pinon, it's a day hospital. And then we got an opportunity to buy 20% at Mkulise. There's a hospital that has been built there.
Let's say,
Mkulise, ne?
I've been following some of these hospitals. In chatting, getting the associated NHI.
Yeah. So, but anyway, so that's what we did to set up this Promedical. Now, unfortunately, when Promedical was set up on the basis of the Cooperatives Act 2005, the whole idea of cooperatives was that the government was committing. Thabo Mbeki was in charge at that time when he enacted the act, because he wanted to take the economy of South Africa to largely sit on the hands of the cooperatives, because that is how you can actually get everybody to participate in a mainstream economy, is by setting up cooperatives. That's what he wanted. That was the whole idea. I was in NAFCOC at that time. So we embraced the idea and then started setting up cooperatives. We're in Dube. There's so many things that we did. But we saw something happening after Thabo Mbeki left office. Nobody cared about cooperatives. And then nobody was interested even in talking about cooperatives. And the whole idea was that cooperatives were the ones who were supposed to get the first preference when it comes to procurement. There's a document called the Department of Trade and Industry Strategy on the Development and Promotion of Cooperatives. That document, nobody wants to talk about it even today. If you can show it to a parliamentarian, they run away immediately because they are not interested. Because the reason is because now cooperatives, they tend to empower broadly. They tend to they tend to share economy or wealth broadly and give it the opportunities to communities. They don't want that because they prefer that at least single individuals should be making money, not many people, because you'd understand. I mean, that's their business model. You understand? Politics is business these days. So then realizing that we were in a tight corner, 2020, then we started the mass democratic civil movement. And then now, at that time, we thought that the problem was just about cooperatives. We didn't realize that the road was so deep that actually the entire country has been auctioned. You know, we thought,
okay.
we thought we're dealing with we're lobbying and advocating on behalf of cooperatives, one cooperative to be strong. But then along the way, we said, no, guys, let us go back to the drawing board. This thing is deeper than we thought, because every institution had been captured. This thing of state capture, that's a drop in an ocean, that one. That's nothing. I don't even want to listen to state capture because it's just some few individuals. Every institution in this country, hospital, clinic, school, anything that you can think of is a sponsor shop of a certain group who are politically connected. And there's nothing you can do. These guys are so entrenched, you can't uproot this. There's nothing you can do. Then we decided, just recently, we said, guys, I think now, especially us as professionals, we have ourselves to blame for all this, because we can see it, we understand it, but we are doing nothing. We're folding our arms. Then we said, okay, fine, what are we gonna do? Then I came up with an idea, okay, and I said, no, we need to organize ourselves and start talking about these things, but we must be practical. Because talk is cheap, anybody can talk. But the conclusion is this: whether we like it or we don't, whether you're in government or in private, nothing is going to happen for as long as you are talking. Nothing is going to happen. And unfortunately, this is how far we can go as professionals, is to talk, and stop someone. But we do have another tool. Our tool that we have is the power of the vote. But the thing is, professionals, because they are intellectuals, so-called intellectuals, they don't know how to use the power or how to duplicate the power of their vote so that we can remove these clowns who are busy putting us down like this, you know. Then we said, no, the best thing we can do, because as professionals who are directly linked to our communities, whether you like it or not, if you are a lawyer, you are linked to your community. There's no way you can say you are not directly linked to your community, because those are the people that you are saving. If you are a doctor, you are linked to your community. You are saving those people. It doesn't matter who you are. You understand? Politicians, they know how to play the game, because they don't need any qualification. Politicians, they just have to master how to be a conman. That's all you have to master. You know, how to lie, how to remember your lies, how to connect them, and how to convince people to believe even something that a reasonable person cannot believe, but you must be able to sell it. You know, that's a politician. But unfortunately, us as professionals who are not like that, you can only speak the truth. If something is not true, you'll always say, no, it's not true, it's not going to happen. So that's our weakness. We can't sell lies. And the only thing we can sell is the truth. So now the question is, what do we do? You know, we're in a tight corner. And then I suggested that, no, let us strengthen MDCM and go to our communities and educate them. But let us work with community leaders, because we already have community leaders. If you go to the townships, you'll find people who are not necessarily political, but they are doing something in our communities. You'll find they've got mamas there who are doing soup kitchens, and then some of them baranama crash. These are community builders. I mean, they work hard. Some of them, they actually do these things out of their pockets. And then you'll find, the church groups there doing youth development programs. You understand? People are busy in the township, but they don't have guidance. They don't know what next from here. The only thing they can keep applying to social development for some little sense to assist them there and there. But they don't see the power that they have on their hands. They are like us. They don't see the power they have, that at just a stroke of a pen, just that close, you can remove somebody from power and put a person who knows what he's doing, and a person who can change the game and take this country forward. So if, for instance, because the question would be, you'll ask me is, but why do we have to do that? Because we do have a functioning government and so forth. I don't think there's anybody still today who believe that we have a functioning government. I mean, if there's a person who still believes that, well, maybe that guy, that person would need a proper examination, because I mean,
you still need to you would also need to sell me you would really have to find ways to convince me for the person that replaces the rod is going to be able to make a difference. Because like I said, it's rotten all the way. So placing a good man there, I mean, so what's the difference?
I like that one. Yeah, let me tell you, and I know, because the reason why, and it's a very genuine question that you're asking, because many people have asked this. Rato, here's one thing. There are two things we can do. We fold our arms, let things go on as they go on. That's one, and that is very easy. That one, we can do that one like now. The second one, we do something. But the question that you're asking, if we do something, how are we going to do it differently that you don't end up going to the same situation that we're in before? Mass Democratic Civil Movement, we came up with a proposed structure that we're using right now. We said, Mass Democratic Civil Movement needs to set up an office. That's an operational office. Now, when you set up an operational office, what is the function of this office? It needs to have reps. We identify reps in the offices, in the communities. Now, you would remember that our communities, they are structured in the form of wards. The voting wards, we have got the voting districts and so forth. We remember that structure. That's basically the functional anatomy of our communities as we speak. Then we said, if we identify reps in each and every ward and each and every voting districts, okay, throughout the country, those are the people who are going to identify the problems and discuss with the communities what the challenges are, and then they put them together, and then bring those projects after discussing with the communities, planning with the communities. They bring those problems to the Office of Mass Democratic Civil Movement. Okay, I'm going to tell you how the office is structured, because our approach is functional. All right, it's not an approach. It's not a political approach. It's a people-based approach. It's practical. It's active. It's alive. Meaning that it's not a talk show where people are going to sit and go to a lot of meetings trying to think about the conferences and all those things. Yeah, must I wait for you? I can wait for you. You want to do something?
No, let's continue.
Okay. I see you I thought maybe you wanted to do something. Yeah.
Okay. I just need to my legs.
Oh, the legs. Okay. Okay. You're getting some cramps.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So now I'm still on this question. How different this one is gonna be. So now, the other thing, which is a house rule, is that the people who are reps, okay, working with the communities, they assist Mass Democratic Civil Movement to identify, right? To identify the right people who are going to take the positions of responsibility, right? Now, why are we doing that? Because we know that if the reps work with those small communities there, whether it be the wards or the districts, and then they give us that information, we would be able to shortlist those people, because they will give us a list. And then we say, okay, these are the people that need to come for interviews. Okay. And then you screen. That's where the screening test comes in now, because that's the beginning where we answer your question. Because we have got to screen the people who are going to work for the communities or lead the communities. Otherwise, you will go back straight. Yeah.
They say you don't want to take money from someone that you'll regret.
Come on. Yeah, come again.
Kare, no, I just came across for it's necessary to be doing that, because you don't want to go into business with someone it's going to make it hard.
Exactly. And look, we have learned from these political parties. I mean, you have seen it yourself. What is happening there? The people who come and join these political parties, they have nothing to do with serving the communities. These people, they are coming in there to make money, and they make money very fast. I can give you a long list of examples. Even people that are my friends, I trusted these people, but as soon as they get into these organizations, I can tell you now, the language has changed. All they are discussing with me, all they are talking about, they're talking about money. You understand?
I have just realized.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
It's hard when maybe I think it's now, because we're talking about the finances and what people are going through. So it's triggering a stress response.
Oh,
and then that's usually during rest time. Sometimes the body pains. At a certain time.
Yeah.
So I think I'm just recalling, everything that you're saying about how doctors are. There's so many layers between you and that money.
Yeah.
You must distribute or chance of insurance, business insurance, body poppy, insurance for, if they can get access to your computer. So now all of that is replaying in my mind.
Yeah.
So it's been a rough ride.
Yeah, yeah, and for everyone, you must not think that you are the only one. Is that some people are quiet across the industry? You get what I mean? And these things, they affect us differently because our situations are different, but they are happening across the board, all of us. Yeah, you see, but people don't talk because it's taboo, to talk about these things. You understand? And and we don't even have a platform where we can actually say, we can share these things, discuss and formulate a strategy to get us out of these things. That is why we formed Promedical to start with 2017. It was exactly. I mean, let me give you a simple example. If you are a doctor now, and you go to a bank, let's say maybe your business is in distress, and you can see things are not working out. Which funding institution will help you? There's no one. They don't want to see a person who is in distress. A professional who is in distress, there's nobody who wants to talk to that professional. You see? But if we had, because we applied for a bank license, a cooperative bank license, if our bank license was issued by now, because we're a cooperative, and let's say every month as a cooperative, we contribute 5,000 rands. I'm just giving an example every month. And we are running our own bank. We don't bank with Standard Bank and ABSA anymore. We put our money in our own bank. Can you see the wealth that we are creating? So it means Dr. Ramatlotlo, when he's in trouble, she doesn't need to go anywhere because she's part of a cooperative. She owns it. She owns the shares. She writes a letter or a telephone call. She makes an appointment with whoever is dealing with risk assessment and say, listen, this is my problem. I want the bank to assist me. Who is going to say no? Because this is your bank. You own it. You are a member of the cooperative. So our stupidity comes from where, well, let me not say stupidity, our ignorance. It comes from where we do not know. We do not know how to play a game in a capitalist world. We don't know how to play the game. A lot of these groups, if you can look, for instance, at the Jews, they know how to play the game. I mean, they've got a Jewish fund. A Jewish fund, a Jew cannot suffer. If a Jew arrives here in South Africa, it goes to his fellow Jewish people, and they will set him up. The following day, he will be running a business. If a Muslim wants to set up, and he just goes to his Islamic people, and they'll set him up tomorrow without borrowing money from the bank. You understand? So this is where our ignorance comes in. And that is why we're always at the bottom of the ladder. And I liked it, when you said it's not about the color, but it's about the poverty. And it's true. What is killing us? It's killing us. It's poverty. Well, it's not because it's the color of our skin. It's because we don't have money. We don't have wealth. We
don't have it.
As a black nation, we don't have wealth. We have not created. There's no generational wealth. There's nothing. You see, that is why we do the things that we do and the way we do them. Why other nations don't do the things that we're doing and they do them differently? It's because they've got generational wealth that assists them. When a guy qualifies from school, he knows he's going to join a network of practice that his father was part of or his relatives were part of, and so forth.
We were never equal.
Exactly. You see. So the question is now, what do? We are where we are. We need to start somewhere so that our kids don't say, yeah, we were never equal. Our kids must say, our parents did it. You know, they did it. So, but if we keep complaining, that is why I said to the guys, let's start a cooperative and stop complaining, because there's no nation that is going to come to our rescue, you know, and there's no politician. There's no politician that will come to our rescue, because politicians, they are working for their pockets. There's not even a single one. I don't, you know, and I
not
don't
even a word of advice.
Exactly. And I like the question that you asked, because it's a genuine question to say, okay, we go out and say we remove these buggers, okay? But then what do we replace them with? You know, are we not going to replace them with the same bugger, same guy, a guy who's going to do the same thing they were doing? And my answer was, no, fortunately enough, we studied this over a long time. And we came up with a formula. We said, if the people that we put in these positions of responsibility are screened and properly screened, and they need to have the qualifications to do the things that they say they can do. To give you an example, you cannot, for instance, expect a guy who is standing up as a councillor with a standard 10 that he was battling actually even to pass. And then now he gets elected to a council. And then he becomes now a leader and he's going to be in charge of our finances. But he has got no financial background. How do you add that one? You can't add that. Doesn't add up. You see, that person is a political animal. Now, a political animal is a guy who has got no qualification, but he goes around mobilizing people to vote him to power so that he can have his hand in the cookie jar. That's all. That's a political animal. But what we're looking for people of substance, people who know what they are talking about. If, for instance, you say you are an economist. If you are an economist, you must have a degree in economics, you know, and you must also show us, you can't say, I mean, how do you put people in power to run a complicated thing like a country? I mean, come on, you know, you take a guy, I don't want to mention names, but you take a guy, you know, just because this guy was addressing people in the rallies, he was brave enough, you know, to talk, yep. And then suddenly now he's given a position of a minister of transport. And he does not have a qualification in transport money. That thing is a very complicated thing, do you know that? Transport. It means you are going to transport the people. You know, you have got to have brains, you know, and you have got to be knowledgeable. You must have, and you must have practiced this thing that you say you know for a period of at least not less than 5 years before you can say you know what you're talking about. And you know yourself what I'm talking about. I mean, if someone can come and say, here is a, you know, a doctor, he just qualified 2 weeks ago, you know, even yourself as a medical doctor, you say, yeah, but where is his senior? You know, at least you must work with his senior, you know, because you know that yes, he's a doctor, but he still needs something else. It's the same thing. We need experience, and you can't buy it, unfortunately, you know. So this is where MTCM is coming in. It says, no. We need people who know what they're talking about and who have got qualifications. You cannot say, yeah, you have an idea because you have read so many articles or some books and so forth to keep on quoting and mentioning names. No. But we need to see the documents and also generally, not only the skills, the knowledge, but the behavior. You understand? These days it's a fashion. I mean, it's almost like now politics is full of rock stars. And then you hear a guy now, yeah, I was in prison, you know, I was a gangster, yeah, but I'm clean now. Now I want to be a president now. I mean, what nonsense is that? Yes, we are clean because, of course, we have served your time. But I mean, come on. For us, that thing must still make us worried that, you know, what kind of the psychology that you have, that that makes you that made you in the first place to start killing people, and then you end up in prison. And yes, now they've prayed for you. Yeah, we believe that you are fine, but you cannot be our president. So it's things like that. You understand? So MDCM comes in right there. And here's the other thing that we have as part of our formula is that if, for instance, a person is standing for a public position, he has got to go through not only an interview, they must also go through for reorientation, because we have established an academy. We've got an academy, okay? And that's where now you get the industry experts who are going to train and make sure that these people that are going to take these positions of responsibility, they know what to do. Above all, they have got to sign a contract with the people, what to call MDCM contract, the people's contract. You have got to sign it, because we must be able to remove you when you don't perform. Right now, you cannot remove a politician when he does not perform, right? Because there's no agreement. I mean, how do you remove him? You must vote him out. But if, for instance, a guy took a public position under the banner of Mass Democratic Civil Movement, okay? Now that guy will have signed a people's contract. And fortunately enough, in the office of Mass Democratic Civil Movement, we've got lawyers who actually, we've got all these divisions, legal division, IT, admin, we've got everything there. So once you have been appointed to say you are going to do this, before you go and occupy that position, you have got to sign here. And then you're still going to contest elections in any case, and then you'll be supported by MDCM, but you'll have signed here. So that the day we want to remove you, we don't wait for Parliament to remove you. No, it's not Parliament, it's MDCM that can just say, come back, we have violated 1, 2, 3, 4, there's another person who's good. So that answers your question. That's trying to answer your question. You understand? To say, how are you going to deal with it? Because it's a reality. You know, you put a guy there before you know, oh boy, he's loading, he's putting everything in his pocket. He says, away with the community things, we want. And that's the problem is listening. There's nobody who can hold anybody accountable out of all these people that are in all these political, because it's a political party system. And unfortunately, Doc, we can't avoid going to Parliament. We can't avoid that, because we need to be in charge of writing the laws and amending the laws. We need to be in charge of making sure that we take ourselves out of the morass that we're in. Nobody will take us out of this. And the other thing that we cannot avoid is to go into the political party system, because this country is structured around political party system. So it means
we cannot avoid going through the political party system.
Exactly, because you see, the thing is, how are you going to do it? Because we tried lobbying and advocacy. For instance, we have been trying to influence change, to say why the government does not, for instance, do business with the communities directly, instead of via the tender system. You understand? You get what I mean? But who is going to listen to you when you say things like that? Because they themselves, they want these tenders for themselves and their families. You see? So if you say, no, but the government, for instance, let's say Koma Melody, they want to construct roads and houses and all those things. You know, if you say the government must actually get the people of Mamelodi to be trained under the cooperative, and then it must be them who do that kind of work, they'll oppose that, because you are denying them a chance to actually lay their hands on that money. They would prefer a system where they go through the tender system. You understand? Because the tender system prefers certain people connected to them, then they can push those deals. And then they go and catch the javelin the other side. You understand? So that's the system that favors corruption. Because you know yourself, with this cadre deployment, it means nothing else but corruption. It's a license to corruption. You see? So now, how are you going to change that? Because we have been trying for years. You understand? To lobby and advocate on behalf of communities that no, the government must do business directly with the communities. You understand? Not via the tender system. They just ignore you. You can sit with them in the boardrooms, have coffee, wine, and then but after that, all what you have been saying, they've forgotten. Now, I am saying, my argument is, the only way out is to go and take them head on using the same party political system to go and contest elections 2024. That's my argument, you see. I know some people have criticized me, said, yeah, but now what could that be politicians? I said, no. A civil society cannot fold its arms and say, if I go and contest elections so that the people themselves, the civil society can take over and they run their lives, and then you come and say, no, but then we're becoming politicians. No, that is wrong. Because to be honest with you, a politician, there's nobody who was born a politician. It's the civil society itself that produces people who end up taking a career as politicians. They come from us, these people. But now we gave them a chance to go and represent us because, of course, we could not represent ourselves. You understand? And then now they end up actually being far from the people and doing their own thing. So it means it calls upon the people, you understand, to take over and say, okay, if you guys, we sent you to do some work for us and you are not doing it, I'll do it myself. I remember my grandmother, if he sent you to do something and they were busy taking your time, and then he would just stand up and say, okay, fine, sit down, and then she would just go and do it. And then and after that, she's happy because she has done it, because you are busy dealing and she doesn't know what you are doing. So it's the same thing. If the civil society realizes that these people that we asked to go and do some work for us, they are not doing it, or they are doing it wrongly, or they are doing it for themselves, we need to stand up and say, we are going to do it. So that's all I'm saying. And then us at the office, we don't even want to go to any a position of power, or what we call a public office, because we believe that there are people out there who have the necessary skills, the knowledge, and the correct behavioral attributes that we can harness, and we can take them to serve us in these positions after they have been screened by the system of mass democratic civil movement. But in our office, our job is to put together resources. And usually you are talking financial resources. We are mobilizing money from the corporate world, and the corporate is prepared to give us a lot of money. They are just waiting for us now to finish our registration, because we are busy now putting together the numbers so that we can register with IEC. As soon as we are registered with IEC, they are prepared to give us the money so that we can go and campaign and contest the elections 2024. And then the office is just nothing else but an operational office. It's not there to go and contest elections. It is there to identify the people, the right people who have got the right skills, the knowledge, who are going to go there and serve the people of South Africa in their respective positions. And those people will have been screened properly, that there's no room for error. And should there be error, they would have signed a contract where, if we still, this guy does not perform in terms of his in terms of the expectations from mass democratic civil movement, which is the people's contract, okay? And then we'll be looking at the performance areas, the performance indicators. And then the day we see that, hey, this guy is not delivering, then all we need is just to inform the people that who are recalling him, because he has breached a contract. It's as easy as that. That's how to run a business, or that's how to run a country. You can't run these things like it's a spaza shop. These things are serious. A country is a very complex thing, you see. So, but unless we do this, then we're not going to win. Of course, the other option is to sit and do nothing, which is the easiest, that one, you see. But you know yourself, anybody, who does nothing gets nothing. So, but at least here, we have at least something we're trying to, even if it means we fail, it's okay. Failure is okay, but at least we would have tried, you understand, to correct this system, you see. So because for me, I don't see anything improving, unless maybe you still have hope. I don't have hope. I don't know if people are hoping that things are going to change, I don't know. And if there's one thing, maybe the other option is to go somewhere. Where do I go? I mean, this is the only country that I know. And if I'm going to watch it like this, and then it collapses on its knees like this, I mean, I can tell you now, 5-10 years down the line, are you aware that doctors who are unemployed now, they cannot get a job? They can't. Yeah. For the first time, I hear something like that this is the time where a doctor cannot get a job. If you happen to be 40 and above, forget it. Actually, it's difficult to get a job even in rural areas these days. One guy was telling me that he has tried rural areas. I said, why don't you try rural areas? He says, no, I'm above 40. But I'm phone. So it's sad. You understand? I mean, a profession like this one, I never thought that would reach that stage where a doctor could stay at home, unemployed. Right now, before we started the meeting, I got a call. 3 doctors are looking for a locum. So I asked them, where are you working? They say they're not working. I said, no, but it can't be. They said, no, we're not working. Can't get a job. Yeah, but so that's where we are. I don't even want to mention, things about the unemployment. I mean, we're sitting about 40%. I mean, mostly it's young people. That's a time bomb. You understand? Everything that was working before is not working. I don't even want to talk about education. You understand? This education, it does not exist. It does not even produce a guy who is even close to what is required by this country. At least maybe medicine is still safe and medicine law, maybe to a certain extent, accounting. But I don't see all these other industries. I don't see them. They are not close to what actually this country and the world is looking for. And then they still take the children to school. There's no education system. It's irrelevant. It's all tired and outdated, but kids are still going to school. Even my child, I had a conversation with him. I said, because, I mean, it's true. He's asking me that, but what am I going to do with this thing? This is not what I want to do in my life. I said, boy, you're correct. Tell me what you want. And he tells me, I realize, I say, I'm wasting this boy's time. At grade 10, I said, no, my boy, I think you're right. Let's look at something else. I think you must stop schooling. This thing, just get another education. That's it. You understand? Just do what you want to do. Because everything now is on the screen. I said, just study. As long as you are disciplined enough, study everything, and then what you love. Because this nonsense, unless maybe you wanted to do law, medicine. He says, I don't want to do this medicine of yours. Because this thing is too much. There's no money in this thing. You work hard. I've never seen you. You literally grew up in hospitals. I don't know you. So why must I do this? You understand? So, I mean, we don't have transport, public transport. What kind of a country that doesn't have public transport? Yeah. We rent down our Transnet, our Prasa, we rent down SAA, we rent down DNet. We used to export arms. Yeah. We're FOCO. We rent down ESCOM. Right now, I mean, there's load shedding that is coming. I heard one in the morning, at night. So you always have everything. You understand? So we actually now it's even worse, dog. We don't even have water. Yeah. Now you see now.
And to make it worse, there's no water.
Yeah, water. You see. And then now they want NHI. As if they didn't take enough. Yeah? Now they want NHI. Now that's where they finish us now. Now you go now and control the money. Single payer system. It means now you'll be paid. You'll claim from the state. Single payer system. Oh, no, now they finish us. And if someone still thinks that we can still sit and say, no, it's going to be better, let me be honest with you, then I would rather prepare, to build a nice, because even sometimes when you own a house, you'll be able to, you'll find yourself unable to pay the rates and taxes at some point, because if you reach a point where you're not working, then you'll rely on what you have invested, which is not a lot, because I can tell you now, all these passive investments, they're nothing. You can go and assess them right now. They're nothing. They're nothing.
They want to increase yearly by however many percent, and then by the end of when you are 45, you need to be paying 20,000 a month towards retirement.
Yeah, what? And they'll just simply go and cash in and just take it and eat it. Because what are you going to do? And after that, now, where you stay, the rates and taxes are 4,000 rands. Now you realize you can't even pay them. So you must go and build a shack. Just go and build yourself a nice shack where you're going to retire or ship out. Now, how do you ship out? You're going to go and look after the grannies there in UK, And because, you can't go to theater now. They'll say, Mabaya is in Canada, is in Canada. He ran away to Canada. So So anyway, Doc, just to
he's probably been gone for a while, ne?
Yeah.
He left. I think after we left a few months after each other. Mara, we were already unhappy then.
Yes, everyone was unhappy. You understand? You get what I mean? So that's the question, Doc. So now we can't fold our arms. We are doing something. So we're calling for the support. Even if you don't want to actively participate in the structure, but at least support the structure and say, well, it makes sense to me. You know, I'll put down my signature. We don't even want a cent from anybody. You know, all we want just the name and the name, the surname, the ID number, and the signature, and then you can go and register with IEC, and that's all. And then you pass the same to a person that you know, and you say there's something like this, we mobilize each other, we go and register to vote. If you can grab about 20 people the day you're going to vote, at least it's something. You say, guys, let us go and put that tick. We need to remove these people. And we, in the office of MDCM, we're promising you we're going to get the right people that you're looking for. You will see them. The interviews will be public. We're going to publicize them. You'll get them on YouTube, on social media. Who are these people? And they will have a choice of saying anything. For the first time, it has never happened in the history, not only of this country, but of the world, where people who are going to stand for elections are getting interviewed. You'll interview a guy as if he's going to take a CEO post in a corporate, you see, because that's the kind of leadership that we want and that we need. For the first time, you see, and for the first time where you are going to have people who are running an office not jostling for positions, because we have seen this thing, you know, that a guy who is in a particular organization, he wants to be a minister. It's not like he wants to serve the people on the ground and work with them. No, you know, his ambition is to be a minister, a teacher. They want to be this, they want to be that. We have seen it, even the guys coming from Sama, I mean, our own organization, it becomes a stepping stone. You understand that towards certain positions in government. They don't want to serve doctors. What did they do for us? Nothing. You understand? Not only Sama, all of them, even SMT, you can name all of them. So we've been sitting and studying these things, you understand? And then we came up to a conclusion that, no, we need something different. And if we want to bring about a different government, we need to start with our own structure. Our own structure must operate differently. Because you cannot say we want a government that accounts directly to the people, when even your own structure, you know, does not have that kind of functional anatomy. It's not going to happen, you see. So, yeah, for us, Doc, we're asking for your support. And then about the cooperative, maybe we'll do, if you want to see, I'll bring you documents, I'll show you things. If maybe you want us to have a physical meeting, we'll do a physical meeting. I'll show you how far we have gone, what we have achieved. We have our own ambulances, by the way, I didn't tell you. Our own emergency vehicles. Yeah, we've got 3 ambulances that we don't even owe a cent. Yeah, so our things are working out. It took us time. It's not easy, I must be honest with you. So if you want to know more about cooperative, I can even visit you. You tell me, oh, we can meet, have a coffee somewhere. Or you want us to have another Zoom, it's not a problem. I'll take you through. But for today, I thought maybe just to give you that kind of a background so that you know what we are doing and we want to do moving forward. And we are just asking for your support. And also, if you have time, you want to participate in our stuff. And again, if maybe you have got a project that you want us to assist on, that's, I nearly forgot that one. Because remember, you need also to flourish. You need to grow. We want to see you growing, you know, as a professional. If you have got ideas, you wanted to do this, you want to do this, let us know. We'll give you all the support that you need so that you can achieve what you want to achieve. You understand? It's not a structure where we talk too much. It's not a talk show structure. It's a very practical, very functional structure. We solve problems. That's what we do. So if you have anything, or you know somebody, or in your community, there are certain issues that you identify, please bring them to us. And together with you, we'll solve them. And the good thing with us is that if, for instance, you are an organizer of your community, wherever you are, whatever you do, when we mobilize resources, we make sure that those projects they are overseen by you from the office, but we use you so that at least you get paid for actually doing or overseeing those projects. Because without you, who understands those communities, it will be difficult for those things to take off. And then even the community members who are actually working, using their hands, doing those things. For instance, if there's a renovation of a tennis court, to give you an example, and you have identified people that are going to work there, you oversee the project, we also pay them, you see, because we mobilize the funds from the corporate. And the corporate is prepared to put the funds to the communities because they have been giving them to the politicians. And the politicians have messed up. And in fact, after messing up, they come back and say, yeah, now we've messed up and they're no longer giving us the money. We're going to expropriate everything without compensation. Now they want to grab everything. Yeah? How do you do that? We'll wake up, we'll be Zimbabwe in one day. The day you do that, one day.
Yeah, that's what I've been that's what I've been thinking. But I think I didn't I don't think I thought I knew about this part of the cooperative, because now when I did go to your website, and then I saw what you were doing in terms of I think in terms of acquiring assets.
Yeah.
That will bring in income. So that's what grabbed my attention.
Yeah.
So now that was what I was looking for. And even now when you're talking, what you're saying, it's ideal, but it needs to be financed. So you are saying for finance only, they are fine.
Yeah. Finance is not a problem. The problem is the project. You see, let me tell you, that's why I want to take you through. Promedical is too detailed and it's a business. So if you want, we can have a special meeting for this one. I did touch a little bit what you are doing. If you want to know more, I'm always available to give you more. The reason why I wanted to give you the Mass Democratic Civil Movement, the umbrella body, it's just so that you know that it does exist and how does it fit in, because you're going to hear more about it as we move forward. It's MDCM is more like it's a political structure, or what we would call an NPO, which is non-profit, whereas Promedical is a profit-making structure. So it's a business. So now, if you want to know about that one, I'm going to come to you, or you say we must have a Zoom, it's fine. I can do that, but I'll have to prepare also documents for you. I can even start sending you some documents so that you can see. You understand that? Because a business, you know yourself, you put down your money. Where you're going to put down your money, you really want to know everything about that business. You want to know the balance sheet. You want to know the income.
I think now this where what you're saying, where we have structures in place to teach. So that's why I've been struggling, because like how you're saying, the economy is a very, it's not, you are not just going to leave matric and then start thinking you'll be able to run the country. So but then when you also look at the levels, like I'm saying, and then medical aid, and then there's someone that's coming, so I find that not knowing how the money is those people are they're not educated people that they can be coming and getting a percentage of my money. So, but the problem is, you don't know, this thing that they are doing is a simple something. So you become disempowered. Ne? So I think that's also one of the things that I've always holding back, because I want to have my money work for me. Mar, I don't want to go into it with the knowledge that I have, because then everything that goes wrong, then then I will have an emotional response to it. Whereas if I'm equipped with the knowledge for business, I think then that would also make it then it also increases the chance of perseverance, where you know this is what business will go through. There's recessions, there's so on. So I've been looking for, I thought maybe I should read something, Mari. But you know, also nowadays the fly by night, and you know, you get a business MBA, you guys 300,000. So and then there's that MBA, 300,000, which needs time. That's also, so the time that I'm taking away is the time that I'm supposed to be making that money. So I find it becomes a bit difficult. I want to have a vehicle for my money, but I don't want to go into it blindly. You will end up being miserable and making people miserable because I don't like that feeling of not knowing. So I think I will be interested in what you say you've got going in terms of equipping people with knowledge. I also like the way Uthalusang Dilogating, because it just felt like I'm getting a better understanding, even of just you know how the structure of politics is, you know. You are right. You are saying we don't know the power of a tick because we are working. But you're working, you're just going to be 50. I mean, how many guys are having heart attacks? The day that you decide it's your day off, burukutlu, dead. So it's a cycle. It's not going to. No one is going anywhere. We're not going to go anywhere. And Mari, you know what you know what is bothering me? It is, there was something, I just think I tried to write it down. There was something about the structure that I felt was a little bit strange. I want to say to you, so now I understand you've got the cooperative that's going on, and you've got the ambulance, and you are in partnership with so and so people. But you feel you also need to have the democratic civil movement. Now I understand what you're saying. I understand the business will suffer if people that BEE is what people are aiming for, you know, what the government is aiming for, to enrich just the few. Mary, what I want to say, what I've always had in my mind was, but why do white institutions not need to be in government? So where are they bridging the gap?
The white people.
Why does this cooperative need to have a bridge between the cooperative and the political party that will make the cooperative? I think the political party is not about the cooperative benefiting. It's about, but it is, because I get you are saying, the community the cooperative will also be overseeing how resources are allocated in the community, and then there's community upliftment. But where does that come in when you see a hospital go Joburg, what is it, Joburg South or Joburg East?
Fortsberg, Joburg,
So that way, it only makes sense in terms of us being a black population. Mari, it doesn't make sense in terms of why do the others, how are the others surviving without having to have a political aspect to their
businesses?
Or maybe I'm confusing.
Yeah, no,
I'm
but I hear
trying
you.
to tell two things that are just separate.
Yeah.
Your heart in a cooperative that you want to make money, and then your heart also in community upliftment.
Yes, yeah. I hear you very well, and thanks for the question. Let me deal with the cooperative first. You see, a cooperative, by its very nature and definition, is a business. If you look at it and you can study, you can Google cooperatives, how they work. It's a business, we call it a social business, a cooperative. Yeah, it's totally different from a PTY or your close corporate, for instance. Okay. It is a social business. It's a business that is formed by people who come together, bring back, put together their resources with a common goal of realizing their economic success, so to speak. Okay. Now let's deal with our cooperative, Promedical, because it's a cooperative of health professionals. You know yourself, being a health professional, you cannot divorce yourself from your community that you are serving. It means from the people, because our business basically is patient-centered. So without the patient, we don't have a business. So it's impossible for us to have a cooperative that is business-orientated without taking care of the patient, the needs of the patient. So it's people-centered. We can have a cooperative if we want. If we wanted to, a cooperative that has nothing to do with the patient. Maybe if we want to go to engineering, you understand, and start manufacturing engineering parts. Yeah, we can do that. But that's not that's not our training. Our training is health. So we decided to do what we know best, which is health. And fortunately or unfortunately, it has to do with the people in our communities. So there's no way we can walk away from our communities. And then why it's a profit-making structure? It's a profit-making structure so that it can create wealth for us, so that we can enjoy our work. That's why we're going out to get funding from the likes of business partners to fund us, so that we can own hospitals, and then we can make money. And we also want to be rich, so that at least we don't have to worry about money. We can serve our people without thinking about money. I would also want to go to a hospital and give them my services for free, and just spend the whole Wednesday and treating children, and for free. That's what I want to do. But I can't do it now, because every hour for me, I must try and make something for my kids. You understand? Even myself, my petrol, I'm thinking about money all the time. That's not how a doctor should be thinking. A doctor should be thinking about, how can I make somebody better? Unfortunately, that's not the case right now, you see. So that's the cooperative. And then coming to mass democratic civil movement. So mass democratic civil movement is a lobbying and advocacy structure. It's a structure that goes out and engage with political leadership, that engages to try and change the law, change the rules of the game, to make the cooperatives, not only our cooperative, but other cooperatives and also other Black businesses and other people better. So that's what MDCM does. It's a broader structure, that one, which actually looks at influencing the government, the corporate, all the decision makers or stakeholders in the economic system, you see, or maybe also in the political system. Now, you asked a question about why other, I don't know if maybe you are still thinking about it, but what I got from you was that why other races, for instance, other people, they run their businesses, but they don't need a political umbrella to run their businesses. You understand? And I take it that though you are referring to other, I take it that you are referring to other people other than us Black people. Unfortunately, with us as Black people, we have got there's a history, and of which I don't have to repeat to you. But what is killing us more is that we do not have a fund, we do not have wealth that we can tap in. Every time we need to start something, we have to organize ourselves first. You know, we're operating in a very difficult environment. Let me give you an example. We are Black people we are governed by black people today. We're no longer governed by white people. We are governed by black people. And yet, we're not going anywhere, like you have articulated very well. We're not going anywhere. And other races, although they are governed by black people, they are growing. And they don't need a political umbrella to grow. They are just growing. You understand? Now, you ask yourself, what is wrong with us? You said, and you put it from the beginning of this meeting. You said, poverty, because now every black person, when he gets into a leadership position, he's working for himself, his family, for his friends, and so forth. He does not work for any other person. So now, once you have a situation like that, then you start needing now, you reach a point where you need a structure that is going to try and deal with these people. Instead of doing business, you first have to go and deal with these people who are stealing from the past. You see, to say stop stealing, that you have a problem, because you don't go straight to, I mean, black people have got a big problem. Well, maybe let's not say because of race or, like you said, because of poverty. I mean, look at it. When you finish school, the first 5 years, you are working to uplift your family, to take certain people to school. First 5 years, you're not working for yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then once you are done with those people, then you start looking after yourself. And then you still have to also upgrade yourself, educational, there's so many things. And after you have done that, then we have got to deal with our own black people who are stealing from the past. Because now you want to do something now. You find that the country is brought down to its knees. People are stealing. So you need to organize ourselves to go and deal with these thieves. So it's complex. Our lives are very complex, So to answer your question, it's the complexity of a black man's life that calls for such things. We don't need those things. We should be doing business clean like other nations. But unfortunately, we need these umbrella bodies. Let me maybe say something else. These white people do have umbrella bodies. Look at, for instance, the Chamber of Mines. The Chamber of Mines is an umbrella body that deals with mining in this country, that makes sure that white people continue mining. You understand? It protects their interests. And then people, they have got other structures. They have got other business chambers. We have got, for instance, the farmers, they've got AFGRI. You understand? AFGRI, that deals with agricultural matters. You understand? And it takes care of their interest in agriculture. You see? So you have got a lot of these groupings, because they have got to also protect their interest against these criminals who are in a political power, who have got political power. Because now and again, there's always this push and pull between the politicians and business. So they have these structures. Without these structures, it becomes very difficult. But our situation is very unique in the sense that we have our own brothers in charge who are supposed to make it easy for us to do business. But let me tell you, they don't care. In fact, they even prefer to do business with the other races. You know why? Because the other races, they pay money, they pay quickly, and they pay a lot. You see, me and you.
That's where I was going to go.
Exactly. Because me and you were going to be arguing, no matter why it's what and then now you're wasting my time. Other people, they pay, they don't ask. So that's why they don't like us. What a problem. You understand? What a problem. Especially professionals are a problem, because they are lateral thinkers. You can see everywhere, they always try and they set up the ordinary workers against professionals. Do you know why they do that? We call it Maoism. Maoism. This strategy was used in China by Mao, Chairman Mao. Mao, he's a Communist Party guy. He was a leader of Communist Party who actually led the Communist Party through the revolution in 1949. Now, those people, Mao, he actually set up the ordinary people, the peasants, and the students, the young people, the youth. He set them up against the professors, their teachers, and the doctors, and the lawyers. And they actually killed their own professors. That was Mao. So that's Maoism. It works for these people everywhere. What they do, they set up the cleaners against the doctors. That is why, for instance, you cannot tell the cleaners in a hospital that they did not clean properly.
That's why I left government.
Yeah, in government, they will kill you, the cleaners. They'll tell you, hi, doctor, you are from Papeda. Well, what? Now, I
thought it was us that did it to ourselves, because when you come into an environment where a professional environment, but at the same time with your own Black history, being a Black person, you still want to give the lady respect. You are able to communicate with them because your mother is a nurse, your cousin is a cleaner somewhere. So you communicate with them in a different manner than the white guy will communicate with them. And the professionalism or that hierarchy that is well associated with you being actually being more educated and being the authoritative figure in that setting. That's when the lines become blurred. So that's that's what I thought, this is what's happening. So when someone I'm cheeky, now she's blurring the lines. But it's actually, I think this makes so much more sense. Mara, how did they get to them, these people? The union.
Yeah, it's unionism. Because remember, when we were fighting during the struggle, we had to mobilize the workers against their bosses, remember, right? Because the bosses were the oppressors, were part and parcel of the system. So now it continued, unfortunately, even post-liberation, because that was a Mao strategy. Mao to say, you have got to organize the peasants, you understand, and to rise. And if the peasants can rise and rise against the bosses, because remember the bosses were part and parcel of the oppressors, because the boss doesn't want to hear stories. He wants his production. You see, if you tell him that you are oppressed, he doesn't want to hear that nonsense. He say, listen, I want my production. So the first person that you have got to crush, the boss before we can go up and be free. You understand? So that was a strategy that worked then. But then post-liberation, you don't need that, because now we must all of us roll up our sleeves and produce. But this thing continued. In fact, now we saw the unions making this thing a business. It's a business. Unions is a business today, because they collect money from these poor people who are ignorant and take this money. They invest. The unions, they own a lot of businesses, but these poor people own nothing. Okay, the unions own everything, but they set them up against the authorities. You see, now and again they would instigate. No, you must fight against these people. If they touch you, fight them. And the union bosses now, they are no longer working. They sit in offices. They sit in offices on the same corridor with the bosses. Can you see? I don't know if you have ever read Animal Farm. You remember that book? You never read it.
I know about it. I'll probably never get to it.
Yeah, by George Orwell.
I think the theme I sort of get, where the animals have to rise up against the authorities.
Exactly. So it's a vicious cycle. That is how it works. I mean, you can trace it back from the removal of the dynasties. You understand, the kings and queens. And they were replaced by politicians. And the politicians, they gave people the hope that when you remove the kings and queens, we're going to give you freedom. The peasants are going to be free. They will be happy. There will be equal opportunities for all. What happened? What happened in Soviet Union? What is happening in China? What is happening in North Korea? What is happening in Russia? They suppressed, they took all the rights from people. So they became worse than the kings and queens. You understand? So it's a vicious cycle. You understand? All these people, when they get to power, they turn against the people. So that's the machinery. This is what we need to defeat as the people. The only people who can defeat this is by educating the civil society what is actually happening. You understand? And making people see things for what they are. Because politicians, they will always tell you this, tell you this. Right now, if you can ask all of them, they will tell you about 1963. Kwame Nkrumah said Africa must be one. When you ask yourself, how can you survive without borders? These guys, what do they mean? But because they say it many times, it's like an advert, they're Coca-Cola. They say it many times, you can even believe that they're actually correct. But it's actually nonsense. How can you have Africa without borders? You understand? Yeah, even Europe has got borders. But you produce a passport, you cross that side, but with a passport. Yeah. So it's those things that we need to start, interrogating, as a civil society, and have the correct interpretation and not listen to these clowns. You see. So it's a long list of things I can tell you. And if we don't come in now, we'll have nothing to save in the next coming 5 to 10 years. You see.
That is true.
Yeah. So at least we'd rather do something. We have nothing to lose. I mean, fortunately enough, we have something that we use to survive. We can put bread on the table, but we can improve from here by participating in sorting out. Because politics is just a way of life. It's not like it's for certain people, no. So sometimes we make a very big mistake to think that, you must not deal with political matters because we become a politician and the politics is dead. Hey, let me tell you, politics is a way of life. It's how you live, it's what you breathe, it's what you walk and what you see. That's politics, because it's about who gets what, how much bread you're gonna get, how much water you're gonna. That's politics. Politics is not about slogans, chanting slogans, singing revolutionary songs. No, it's who is gonna get water tomorrow, who is gonna get electricity, where are we gonna get it and how. That is politics. You see, that is politics. So if we abdicate our responsibility and say, no, it's for only those people, hey, and we're allowing criminals, because these people, these days it's a fashion. Actually, I'm looking at these people now. We check the kids, you tell them to study science, they say no, they want to study history because they want to be like Ndlozi, this Ndlozi, they call him Dr. Ndlozi, this guy who do social, they do this thing, these courses, political studies, I mean, those things, children can study that thing, when they are going to the toilet. You don't have to actually sit in a class and study, do this thing, what in politics, social. No, you just need to study subjects that can make you function, make you productive, have critical thinking. You understand? So we as a civil society, we can start driving that from the beginning to say, guys, no.
That's important. It's not even just the people that are, you find it in people that are educated. That's why, like how you're saying, we are so focused on what we are doing here that you don't realize you are actually part and parcel of what is going on outside. Mare, because then Rosie comes and says, they studied political history and so on. Then it becomes something, another mountain that you must cross so that you understand his language. Electricity, rega, solar, what. And then they come back and say, we want a piece of that. You are not going off the grid. Even if you go off the grid, we still want something from you. So I'm now beginning to understand what you're saying.
You see? Yeah. Thanks, Doc.
So it's not, I understand. Exactly. The country will burn down.
I'm glad. I'm so glad. Yeah. Yes. No, I'm grateful, man. Please, Doc, man, just support the whole movement. If you need anything, let's engage. It's not the last time we engage, me and you. Let's keep talking. If you want a Zoom anytime, you drop me a WhatsApp, or SMS, whatever. Anything in your mind that you're thinking. If maybe there are people that you want me to come and talk to, I'll come. If you want us to organize some tea, coffee, whatever, we'll do. I'll also invite you in our events. There's an event that is coming. We're launching the structure, but we don't have the date yet. Probably in coming few weeks, I'm going to send you all the information. And then the MDCM website is about to be finished. And then we'll be posting a lot of stuff there as well. Just visit the website. It's just a constant interaction all the time. And then I'm sure you are on the group, ne? Are you on the group? Because there's a link that I'll send it to you. I'll send you the link.
I think there was a sometimes the group, if the first word is not what is this group about? You scroll through, you recognize one name, and you're thinking, this person was also added. So it becomes difficult. This is the era of.
No, I understand. Yeah, but that one is a menu. You'll see it's a WhatsApp menu. You scroll down, and then you can select the forms. You do everything.
It's a WhatsApp.
Yeah, WhatsApp. Yeah, it's a WhatsApp.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'll send you the link.
Right.
Yeah, and send you the link. Yeah, and then you'll also give you our website pages. It gives everything basically, And I'm glad that you visited Promedical website. I'm impressed, that you did that. And you will also have a look at MDCM website. It's going to be finished very soon. Probably next week it will be up and running. And then, but communication every day. And then please sign us the form, just the name, surname, ID, and then you put a signature. It's electronic signature. You sign it there, and then you press submit. Then you can